Now here is chapter 2. What are the odds of you actually making it to wealth? Are you stacked up against it? Let's figure this out. You know, a few weeks ago, I was at a book and tape show at a little hotel in San Diego. Now, for y'all that don't know what the book and tape business is, that's where some salesman flies into town, runs some ads locally, and people show up that are hopeful for some solution. Generally, they're business opportunities or some kind of a training to go in a specific business. And I was at this book and tape show, and there were a lot of middle-aged women there, a couple of men, but they were all learning that they wanted to go into the bookkeeping business. They were trying to figure out, should I learn bookkeeping and start my own bookkeeping company? Well, to get everybody excited, the book and tape salesman, and don't get me wrong, I like the book and tape business. I go to these things and I actually buy. In the last year, I've bought systems on how to do investing, and I've bought a lot of marketing systems. I even bought a government grant system. Some of those you've seen. I go to these, I buy that material, I read it, and I use it. So I like the book and tape business. But here in this book and tape show, this room full of middle-aged women mostly were asked, how much do you want to make in the next 2 years or in the next 5 years? And everybody in the room started raising their hand. They were excited. And one woman says, I want to make 80,000. The woman next to her says, well, I'd like to make 100. And a few minutes later, they'd all whooped themselves up into an excitement, and they were talking about making $250,000 or $500,000 a year. Now I'm in the back of the room and I'm smiling at this thinking, boy, y'all do not know what the odds are of that ever actually happening. The truth is, the odds are stacked against you. And I'm going to tell you what those odds are. Plus, I'm going to tell you how to beat them. So here's the story. The odds are tough that you're ever going to make it in business. Out of 256 businesses that start up in your county this month, only one out of 256 will ever get to $1 million in gross revenue. $1 million, that's the minimum that you could realistically do to call this business actually a company, where you'd make $100,000 a year more. If you're doing under $1 million, it's just a full-time 24-hour-a-day job. It's not a business at all. So your chances, though, are really tough of ever even getting to $1 million, which is the minimum. 1 out of 256. Over 200 of those companies won't even make it 5 years. They'll go out. Out of the 56 that are remaining, 1 gets to $1 million. But what about this idea of maybe someday I'll sell out to Google, or someday I'm going to live on that island out there in the Caribbean? Actually, the odds are pretty tough on that too, because to get to that level, to get somebody to buy your company at 20 times earnings, you're going to have to be at a minimum of $10 million a year in revenue and have systems in place. Out of those 256 businesses, 1 got to $1 million, but 11,000 businesses have to start for just one of those companies to get to the 10 million mark. That's just harsh. Those odds are stacked. You've got a better chance of growing up in Chicago, learning how to play basketball downtown, and getting on the team with the Bulls. So let's figure out a different way to beat this. What does it take? And here's what it takes to beat the odds. I'm going to tell you exactly the 3 things that we do wrong. Number 1, we work too hard. And this is something your mom told you to do. If you're going to go into business, I'm not too excited about it, son, but if you're going to do it, make sure you work hard. Second thing, sell lots. Make sure you get a lot of products in there, everything the customer wants, fulfill the customer's needs. And the third thing, get lots of customers. Every few days, we're going to be doing a video blog like this with specific information on how a small business owner embracing the tenets of capitalism, working smart, not hard, and embracing the concept that I want to be rich, because the richer I am, the more I've done for others. I'll show you if you can embrace those concepts and techniques. I'm going to show you exactly how any business can beat the odds. I know I've done it myself several times, and I've spent 40 years researching, studying, talking to other people that have done it, and you can too. It's Casey Tribute, Lonesome Cowboys. We say in Wyoming, when it's time to get into action, let's ride.